Hey guys, this is Unit 2, Lesson 4, adding and subtracting decimals. We're going to just model adding and subtracting some decimals. And then I want you to watch the other video that talks about how we convert between metric, length, and decimals and how that works. So I'm not going to actually talk about that in this video, but the next video on the list will talk about that. So I'm just going to focus on the adding and subtracting of decimal numbers for today. Okay, so let's look at these two problems. If I have 60 cents plus 20 cents, what I end up with is 80 cents. So notice one of the big important facts in adding and subtracting decimals, or really at all working with decimals, is that you line up the decimal places. So notice that all of the decimals are in a perfectly straight line here. That has to happen. If you don't do that, you lose your place value. Just like when you guys learned how to add and subtract just whole numbers, I'm sure your teachers and parents spent an awful lot of time talking about you have to line up the ones place value with the ones place value and the tens place value with the tens. Well, same here. You have to line up the decimals, and that then keeps the ones place value lined up, the tenths place value, and the hundredths place value. And then you can just add or subtract like you normally would. So again, let's look at this next example. The decimal places are all lined up. I'm going to add in the hundredths column first. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 plus 4, I get 6. And then after I've added in the hundredths column, then I'm going to add in the tenths column. 6 plus 2 is 8. So I just keep my place value lined up. Adding and subtracting, keep your place value lined up. Okay, so let's go on and try this next problem. We're going to use the chart that's over on the side, on the right side of the screen. The chart at the right shows the number of times each family member ran the relay, and we want to find out how much longer did Jack run than Dusty. Well, how much longer did Jack run than Dusty is going to be a subtraction problem. So if I can get my pen to work. Oops, sorry guys. Hang on, give me just a second. Okay, I think I'm good to go. So we're going to take the largest one of these. So first I have to figure out which one's large, how much longer did Jack run, and then I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to take 47 and 51 hundredths, and I'm going to subtract 47 and 49 hundredths. Okay, so just like always, 1 minus 9, I can't do it. I have to borrow. That becomes a 4. 11 to minus 9, I can do that. It's 2. 4 minus 4 is 0. I bring my decimal place down. 7 minus 7 is 0, and 4 minus 4 is 0. So now when I go to answer my question, there's a couple of ways that I can write it. You guys will most often see me just write the decimal place and then the digits, okay, and we're going to label our units seconds. But you could also put that decimal in front, and I know a lot of you guys like to do that, the 0 and then the decimal place and then the 2, okay. It's your choice, but you guys will more often than not see me do it this very first way. How much time did Brandon and Brandon and Raj take to complete their 2 legs combined? So combined indicates we're going to add. So I'm going to erase this just so I've got the space to write because I don't have a lot of space on this page. And we're going to take Brandon and we're going to add Raj to Brandon's time. So 47 and 6 tenths plus 47 and 57 hundredths. Okay, remember I can add a 0 as a placeholder at the end of the decimal and it doesn't change that value. So if you need to do that for that visual cue that you're adding 0 plus 7, go ahead and do that. Bring down 0 plus 7 is 7, 5 plus 6 is 11, carry my 1, bring my decimal down because I just want to carry that right away. That's one of the very first things I want to make sure I've got in there so that my answer is correct. 7 and 7 is 14 plus 1 more is 15. I'm going to carry my 1 again. 4 and 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So all together it took them 95 seconds and 17 hundredths of a second. Okay? All right. Which 2 runners had the greatest difference in their running time, and what's the difference? So what I'm going to do in order to figure that out is I'm going to find the fastest time and the slowest time by comparing my place values. So when I look at my place values, it looks like Brandon's maybe the slowest time and Dusty is the fastest time. So I'm going to subtract Brandon and Dusty. So I'm going to take 47 and 49 hundredths minus, from 47 and 600ths. And again, I can add that placeholder 0 in, okay? I can't take 9 away from 0, so I'm going to do some borrowing, just like I always would on subtraction. 10 minus 1, 9 is 1, 5 minus 4 is 1, and then the rest of them become zeros, right? So 1100ths of a second is the difference. And it was Dusty and Brandon. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of practice problems here, and the thing that I don't necessarily like about our book is that sometimes they'll put those practice problems running horizontally. You guys just need to make sure that you write all subtraction, addition, anything you're doing with decimals, write them vertically instead of horizontally so that you can line up those decimal places. So that's part of this copy piece that it says, copy each exercise. It's because you need them written going the other way. So let me show you what I mean by that. I need to line up my place values, my decimals. Okay, so I need it going this direction in order to really truly be able to see and add. And then I can add. And I can do that mental math in my head, and I know I get 9600ths. Okay, this one, number 5, I can't do that quite as easily, but I need to write it top to bottom vertically, and then line up my place value instead of the horizontal that they have. Okay, so 7 plus 5, 12, carry my 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 2 more is 7, and I bring down my decimal, okay? One strategy, if you struggle with remembering to bring your decimal down, let me show you on number 6 here, is to get them written down. And notice I often leave off that front 0. That's a me thing. If it helps you guys work with them to put that down, go for it. One of the things you can do, though, at the beginning is just bring that decimal down. Just start with bringing it down. If you ever forget to bring it down, or if you find that that's the error you're making in life, just bring it down first thing before you do anything else. So 7, 9 plus 5 is 14. When I carry that 1, see, now these placeholders might help you guys. I know that it goes out here, so 1 and 4700ths. Okay, let's try a couple more here. These ones are subtraction, so let's give those a shot. 1 and 4/10. Again, top to bottom, vertically instead of having them going horizontally. I have to borrow, becomes a 0. 14 minus 9 is 5, and my decimal place, so 5/10. Okay, so again, I cannot tell you the importance of lining up decimals. Remember, if there's a whole number and there is no visual decimal, it goes at the end. So just stick that decimal in. If you need to put a placeholder, numbers at the end don't make any difference, so add that placeholder in and go ahead and subtract across. Okay, so 5 becomes a 4, 10 makes this 5, 3, and decimal down. And notice how I leave that nice gap when I know there's a decimal there. That just helps me remember I have a decimal there and I have to put it in. Just one of the things that I will do in order to help myself remember. Okay, so let's try a couple more, and then I'm going to give you guys some time to practice these ones. I'm going to have you pause the video after I do this one and practice the next set and then come back and check. So, okay, there's no 0 here, so I can add that placeholder 0. Borrow from my 7, it becomes a 6. 9, 10 minus 9 is 1. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down my decimal, and I get a 1. Okay, so 1 and 2100ths. So notice I say them correct every time I say them. I don't say point. I always say and then I say the place value of the number. That's so important because it helps you guys see place value and understand place value better. When we say the word 3.5, like on number 8, we're not seeing place value, so I don't want to hear that at all. I really want you to make sure that you're saying the place value. Okay, I want you guys to pause the video and do 10 through 15 and then come back and check. Okay, here are your answers. If you need to pause so you can take a little longer look at this, I'm going to stop the video, but I want you guys to go on and watch the quick short metric one that I posted as well. So please watch the metric video.